tyre pressures. Why do we need to lower them when we go off-road? Well, there's a couple of different reasons, and in this video I'm going to explain to you why. I'm Nathan, and here on Every Road Adventures we're all about helping you discover and create your own adventure. Now let's get into it. So the two reasons that we need to lower our tyre pressures when we do go off-road is traction and protection. So what do I mean? Well, let's start with protection. Our tyres are just like a big balloon, and they're exactly the same, a bit of rubber filled with air. Now, if we keep these at road going pressure, so quite high, it'll be like a fully blown balloon. If we hit a sharp rock, then we're likely to poke and pop it, and cause our tyre to rapidly deflate, meaning we'll have to either get another tyre, get it repaired, or we'll get stuck. So we need to lower our pressures a bit just to give our tyre a bit more chance to survive some of the challenges and obstacles that we do face when we're off-road. The second reason to lower our tyre pressures when we go off-road is for traction. Now, the pressure that you go to, that will vary. It depends on the weight of your vehicle, the weight that you're carrying in your vehicle, are you towing, and what type of terrains you're driving. Sand, bitumen, rocky dirt roads, mud, rocks. It all varies, it all really varies. And the best way to experiment what's best to get the best traction is for yourself, just by trial and error. But to give ourselves the best chance at traction, we need to increase the footprint of the tyre. Now that's the piece of tyre that's in contact with the ground. Now I'm going to show you, go through a little demonstration as to what various pressures do as far as increasing the footprint of the tyre that is in contact with the ground. Let's go and have a look. So like I said, here's a little experiment I'm going to show you just to explain the tyre width of the ground. Now, the tyre width of the ground that is in contact with the ground is just a width of the tyre and the length of the tyre. Very simple, a little square or rectangle depending on our tyre pressure. So if we look here, I'm going to use a bit of chalk to help explain this much better. .35 psi. .25 psi. .15 psi. So we have about 22.5 centimeters of tread in contact with the ground at 35 psi in this tyre. At 15 we have about 25 centimeters of tyre in contact with the ground, and at 15 psi there is about 30 centimeters of tread in contact with the ground. So you can see that the difference between 35 psi and 15 psi is quite dramatic. 7.5 centimeters of tread length in contact with the ground. And that's what we want. We want more tread length in contact with the ground, depending on our conditions and the environment that we're driving in. It's not the width of the tyre that matters. That really doesn't change because that's all you've got. There's only so much width on your tyre. Depending on your tyre size, there's only so much width on each tyre. You can't alter that. When people talk about bagging out their tyres and having their tyre bagged, that is not trying to, I think they get the term mixed up, because even though you see the bulge in the tyre sidewall, it's not giving them any extra width because you've only got a set amount of tread in the width of the tyre. However, you've got a full 360 degrees of tyre tread in a straight direction. So by lengthening our footprint in the ground, we can get more tyre in contact with the ground and therefore more tread. That's not always what we want, but it depends on the conditions and the type of ground that we're actually driving on. So if you're in soft sand, you may need to go even lower than 15 psi because you want to increase the footprint. Have you ever tried riding a push bike across the sand or across the beach? It can be very hard, but you see those beach bikes with the big fat tyres on it. It's because they're increasing the amount of tyre in contact with the ground, and it makes it a lot easier to ride on. So go off-road, lower your tyre pressures and do it appropriately to the conditions and the environment you're driving on. And all you are doing is increasing the length of tyre tread that is in contact with the ground of the road, not the width. I hope the information in this video has been helpful and cleared up a few questions you've got about tyre inflation. But don't forget that you do need to re-inflate your tyres once you've finished four-wheel driving. I will have a video coming up shortly on that, so stay tuned for that. Till then, subscribe to our channel and I'll see you in the next video.